Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to our Reach Your Ideal Customer session. I am Gloria Ware, CEO and Chief Rainmaker of Get the Bag, and also, because one business was not enough, CEO and Capital Co-Pilot of GTB Advisors. I am so excited to bring this discussion with you to you today, and we will be joined by our summer intern team. You will meet them very soon, get to know them a little better. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of background information about GTB Advisors and Get the Bag. We're all about making sure that businesses and organizations are connected to financial capital, social capital, and customer capital. And because we believe that the customer is queen, we thought this would be a great session to take a deeper dive on, right? What are some things that we can control and we can't necessarily control who gives us money or not, whether it's a loan or investment or through crowdfunding, but we can definitely create a positive, welcoming experience for our prospective customers and our customers and solve their problems. In order to do that, though, we need to have a better understanding of our customers and what's their journey on the way to finding the solution to our problems. So this summer, I had the opportunity to work with three amazing interns they're on the screen with me today. And they had the opportunity to work on identifying some customer personas and journey maps for both Get the Bag and GTB Advisors. They each identified two personas and kind of did a deep dive on those and are going to be sharing one of those personas today and sharing more about their journeys, but primarily focused on helping us to create our own customer personas and journey maps for the small business owner. So we tried to have this be very focused on knowing that small business owners don't have a lot of time, resources, and necessarily marketing expertise, but there is definitely opportunity for us to be more focused in our marketing. So with that, I'm going to move to meet the presenters. Let's
Hi,
start with
everyone.
Mercedes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Mercedes, and I'm a marketing and community engagement intern for GTB Advisors, as well as Get the Bag. I am also a rising junior at The Ohio State University, majoring in communication technology and minoring in consumer economics and policy. And I'm really excited about this webinar and to share some of the things that I have learned throughout my internship here at GTB Advisors and Get the Bag. And we also have our LinkedIn's here, so you can scan the QR codes and connect with us. We would love that. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Asia. I am an economic research and communications intern here for both of Gloria's wonderful companies. I am a rising second year at the University of Chicago, though I am from Southwest Washington. There I am double majoring in biz econ and Spanish with a minor in architectural studies. And I am beyond excited to talk with you guys today. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, everybody. My name is David, and I'm also from Washington State. I recently graduated from the University of Chicago with a degree in economics, and thank you so much for being here today.
Well, thank you. Now that you've met the interns, please make sure that you connect with them on LinkedIn, help them to build a strong and robust network. We will move on to the presentation.
Thank you. So a little brief overview of what we will be covering today. So I will be covering the customer persona and why it's important. And then I'll also go through how to build your own customer persona. And then Asia will cover customer journey and customer journey maps. And David will cover applying those customer journey maps and leveraging AI. So moving on, I want to first talk about what is a customer persona. So a customer persona, you might have heard it as a buyer persona or a marketing persona, even a digital persona, but they are more or less the same thing. And so what a customer persona is a fictional generalized representation of your ideal customer. So customer personas are really essential tools in marketing and product development. They allow us to understand our target audience on a deeper level. And we can do this by creating a detailed profile that represents the typical characteristics and behaviors of our customers. And so, in order to effectively connect with your customers, you have to understand your customers. So, moving on to the next slide. It is crucial to understand your customer's background, their goals, their challenges, their interests, their needs, even their demographics. So, all of this understanding and information on your customers allows you to customize your content to meet their specific needs and behaviors. And so, depending on your business, you could have as many as 10 or 20, or you could have as few as one or two. This really just depends on the diversity of your customer base. And so here I have a really good graphic that touches on some information that you should have on your customer in order to properly form their persona. So in the next few slides, I will go into detail in about 3 essential topics from this graphic that you should have on your persona. And so moving to the next slide, like I just mentioned, I broke this graphic down into 3 key topics that you should include. And I want to start off with personal information. So personal information such as the age, gender, if your customers have children or not, their marital status, location, income, education. All of this information is crucial when creating your customer persona because it helps you to tailor your communication, identify the specific needs of your customer, and predict their purchasing behavior. For example, knowing your customer's income level helps to set appropriate pricing for your products or services. And you can also know your age, the age and the location of your customers because it can influence the style and the content of your business marketing strategies and messages. And so next is goals and challenges. So really understanding your persona's goals and challenges is vital because it allows you to align your products or your services with their aspirations and their pain points. So really knowing your customer's personal or career goals helps to tailor your offerings to support their goals, whether that is advancing in their career or even achieving a personal milestone. And so by addressing these challenges and helping them to achieve their goals, you really create a customer persona that is strong and you build a really great connection with your customers, which then can enhance your ability to meet their needs effectively and ultimately earn loyalty toward your business. And so lastly, where are they? Where are your customers? So when crafting your customer persona, it's really crucial to understand where they are in terms of information sources and communication preferences. So first, knowing how they get their information, whether that's through online searches or traditional media outlets like blogs or the news or even social media, all of this can help guide you in choosing the best channels to reach your customers effectively. And so understanding their communication style helps you to match your message to their preferences. And so whether they prefer formal or informal tones, all of this can help contribute to building a strong customer persona. And additionally, identifying the media they use and consume and the social platforms that they are most active on ensures that your marketing efforts are visible and they're where your customers are most active. So knowing all of this can really help to create a deeper customer persona and really getting to know your customer persona. So moving on, why are customer personas important? So I have 3 reasons why they are important, with the first one being that customer personas help to understand your customers' needs and behaviors. So customer personas provide a detailed overview of your target audience's needs, preferences, challenges, and motivations. And so really understanding how your customers interact with your brand helps to tailor your products and services to better meet their expectations. Next, I have that customer personas enhance marketing effectiveness. So, having a persona that enables you to create personal marketing messages and messages that really resonate with your customers are so important because it makes sure that you are reaching the right people with the right message and you can get more value from your marketing budget. And lastly, I have that customer personas help with better targeted marketing strategies. So, customer personas really help you to divide your audience by their demographics, their interests, their behaviors. And this all helps to make sure that you are targeting them more effectively. So, really matching your market to what your customers like to do and creating engaging campaigns can help build loyalty to your customers or to your business. Sorry. And I have this statistic by Deloitte and Touche, which says customer centric organizations are 60% more profitable than those that are non customer centric. So, this statistic really highlights the significant financial advantage of focusing on understanding and meeting your customers' needs. So you might be wondering, what do customer centric organizations do? Well, they really prioritize building customer relationships and enhancing the overall customer experience to help better tailor your customer experience. And so by aligning the business operation with your customer preferences and behaviors, your company or your small business can achieve high profitability and have more sustainable growth. And so I wanted to open the floor up for questions or comments that you might have before moving on to creating your customer persona.
Thank you, Mercedes. I have a question. Can you give an example of a brand that you think does a great job of kind of knowing their persona and marketing their persona? I know you've done some work in the past with some previous brands.
Yes, that is a great question. I would say that Abercrombie has great knowledge on their customer persona. You know, they are targeted to the more younger generation, but who are in their 20s, but still who want to have a nice style, a little more sophisticated, style that they can wear at work, but also if they want to get drinks or dinner with friends after work. It's really nice that they can have their outfits tailored to whatever event they would like. So I would definitely say that Abercrombie and Fitch definitely has a great customer persona.
Thank you.
Thank you. So moving on to how to build your customer persona. Know that creating a customer persona can be a little bit challenging considering the amount of research and time that you have to take on spending creating one. But with the help of AI, you can create a persona in minutes. So I have some detailed steps here on how to create your persona. And the first step in building your persona is choosing an AI tool. So there are many AI tools out there that you can use, but you want to really choose one that works best for you and which one you are most comfortable with. So I have a few that I have some experience with, including Gemini, ChatGPT, and Jasper. And these are some ones that I found to be very simple and easy to use. But if you have something else that you're more comfortable with, feel free to use that as well. And so moving on to the next step is, before creating your persona, you really want to make sure that you have conducted some research on your customers. And so you can do this by conducting interviews. You can interview current customers or prospects. You can do some surveys and reviews on from your customers. This can be both positive and negative reviews. And then you could also gather some insights from your sales team about some common challenges that your customers might face when trying to purchase a product or a service. And so you want to really feed your AI you want to feed the AI that you're using your research on your company so that they can better understand what type of customer would be best. And so next, you want to ask AI to build a customer persona profile for your targeted customers and give them a little bit of background on your business. So in this AI prompt, you want to be sure to include some basic demographic information, but also ask them to include professional background and personality traits, and even more, including like communication preferences or whatever you want to have on your customer persona. And I say this because AI gives a lot of information and it can be very overwhelming. So if you just ask it to do or ask it to create certain personas, then that'll be very helpful. And so now I want to share my screen because we are going to walk through creating a persona using ChatGPT. Okay, perfect. I think everyone can see my screen now. So I am going to walk you all through creating your persona. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your customer research. So, or some research on your company. So I am going to take some research that I have from another document and place this into the AI that I'm using. And I chose to use ChatGPT, but you're welcome to use whatever you would like. And for the purposes of this webinar, this research is fictional, but you want to make sure that you're including real research and giving it to the AI just so they are able to better create a persona for your company. But include as much or as little as you would like, depending on privacy concerns and whatnot. So once you have your research, you want to give it to the AI. So feed your research, and automatically the AI or the ChatGPT is going to sum up all of the research that you have. And so next, in the next step, like I said, you want to build your prompt. So I'm going to copy and paste this prompt that I already have. And I'm going to put this into the search. So I have everything that I would like the AI to do and include in my customer persona profile. You can also add as little or as more as you would like. And then I also made sure to give a little bit of background on the business and what we do. So feed that research to the AI. And so perfect. Then it creates a customer persona. So obviously this is a lot of information. And this is all great because here you have a nice little template of like what you can use for your when creating your customer persona. And so I am going to stop sharing my screen and go back to the slides. And so now that your AI has created your customer persona, I know that AI gives a lot of information, but as a communications professional, I really want to focus on the communication preferences for this customer. And so it kind of broke it down into 3 different categories of information, but I want to focus on how it tailors our communication to match the customer's preferences. And so what this really does is it helps to build the trust and enhance engagement and ensures that our messages are really relevant and impactful. And this is something that I really wanted to focus on with my title and being a communications and marketing professional. So this approach not only improves the customer persona's overall experience, but it also fosters a deeper connection and more valuable feedback for continuous improvement. And I also want to make sure to note that you always want to check and edit the persona that AI gives you, just because you want to make sure that you're better tailoring it to your business. And I know it gives a lot of information, so you can take some of that out if you would like. And so moving on, now that you have your customer persona, you can essentially enhance and personalize all of your content going forward. So once you develop your customer persona, you can use it to leverage your advertising channels. So really selecting the most effective advertising platforms and channels where your persona is most active to maximize the reach and engagement. So this can be through social media, through a website, through email marketing, or even word of mouth. You can also use it to guide marketing campaigns that align with your persona's goals and pain points, which helps to make your messaging more impactful. You can also use it to help guide product development. So, based on the insights gathered from your persona, you can ensure that your products are really meeting their needs and solving your customers' problems effectively. And then for the fourth one is content creation. So crafting content that really speaks directly to your persona's interests, their needs, and their preferences. And so you can do this by making a content calendar with all of the content that is tailored to your persona. And I will get into this in the next slide. And so, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have created multiple personas for GTB advisors and Get the Bag during my time here at the internship. And so with those personas, we can now create a content calendar. And so what a content calendar does is it helps to plan and organize the content to address the specific needs and interests of your persona. So by aligning the content with your personas, you really ensure that your messaging resonates with your target audience and provides value and meets their expectations. And so this is a good example of how we can best market our personas while staying consistently engaged and tailoring those platform choices. And it's also important to note that each persona may favor specific platforms such as LinkedIn or Instagram. And it's really nice because you have the set days that you're going to post certain content on, and it just helps to keep everything very organized and making sure that you are posting content consistently. And another thing that is also important to know is that some content doesn't do well on certain platforms. So you wouldn't post a blog post on Instagram, for example. That might be better for LinkedIn. So it's just better to organize all of your content on a content calendar. And this is just a little example of what you can do. And so lastly, I have a short example of a customer persona that I created with the help of AI for Get the Bag. And so as you can see, I included Ella's demographics and her interests, as well as like what she does for work and her title, her education, and what she really like prioritizes in her job. And so it's also important to note that not every customer will be the same as Ella. They might work for a different company. They might have a different job title. They might have different pain points. But using Ella as a guide helps in shaping these different strategies for your small business. But like I was saying, it's always good to consider the diversity among your customers to really ensure that your approach is inclusive and adaptable. And so with that being said, we are going to move on to customer journeys with Asia.
Let's pause to see if there's any questions. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I see Tania, thank you for joining us today. You said that content calendars are truly needed. So what I love about the experience, that's been a challenge that I've had for many, many years. And what I love about the AI is that it helps to brainstorm some topics that I can actually create an effective content calendar. So, and it was a huge time saver. So hopefully you'll see like more consistent content as a result of that coming from Get the Bag. Thank you.
Yes, it definitely helped us to stay on track with creating the content as well and making sure that the content was being posted. because, I was working with other interns and we're creating a lot of content. And so we just want to make sure that, there's no repeats or, everything's getting posted. So definitely content calendars are needed in the marketing space.
Okay, so now we have our personas, and we will talk more about what do we do with these personas. So I'll bring Asia to the stage. Thank you, Mercedes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mercedes. That was absolutely wonderful. I'm going to shift into talking about customer personas, or using customer personas to talk about customer journeys and customer journey maps. But I just wanted to thank all of you guys for being here. I'm so excited to talk about this today. I think the presentation is not up as of right now. Okay, so going back, today we are going to talk about customer journeys. So what even is a customer journey? A customer journey is the steps that an individual goes through as they convert to using your product or service. These steps often look a little bit different from company to company because we are serving different customers and we have different products. Because of this, we have different needs that we need to explore. However, these are some of the steps that are most typical in conveying a customer journey. So we start with awareness. In the awareness phase, a given consumer is not yet aware of how they are a consumer, how they are a customer. They just know that they have a problem they want to solve, and they're trying to learn more about this issue, whether this be through emails, through blogs, through social media posts, magazines, whatever it may be. They're just immersing themselves in the topic of their problem. As they learn more, they can kind of start to understand that solutions exist to their issue, and they kind of travel into this consideration phase where they're backed by knowledge and they're trying to figure out how to move forward with that knowledge. Once they start researching solutions, they're going to consider which ones are best considering their needs, their wants, and their emotions. Now they've entered the decision phase and they're going to decide on a product to use. Ideally, this is where they decide on your product and they move into the purchase phase, where they purchase your product and they begin to use it. Ideally, they have a positive experience, and because of this, they're proud, they're excited, they want to share their experience and their findings with the people around them. They move into the advocacy phase, where they communicate what has happened, what they enjoyed, and their experience with the people around them. As I mentioned earlier, this customer journey can look a little bit different depending on the business. This is another example here. You'll notice we have the phases: awareness, consideration, purchase, retention, and advocacy. So you'll see those middle phases, that kind of experience the customer goes through during usage, is a little bit different than the journey before. However, what's important to note here is that the beginning and the end are identical. A consumer will always start in the awareness phase where they're not yet sure as to what they even need. They just know they have a problem. This phase is important because it's the first moment that a customer may be interacting with you as a brand and as a business. This is your first chance to make an impression and to communicate your potential to them. And then that advocacy phase is important as well, because this is once the consumer has engaged with your product, and this is how your brand voice and your message spreads to others through their voice. It's a form of passive marketing. Okay, so now that we kind of understand what each of these steps are, it's important to realize what we want to articulate about each step of this journey. So once again, very variable depending on what you want to convey about your customers, what you want to understand. But some of the most typical things to discuss on each of these phases are the emotions a customer has, whether they're excited, they're nervous, they're anxious, maybe they're proud, what they need or want. Are they trying to help somebody? Do they need capital? Are they trying to expand? Are they trying to improve their actions? How are they communicating? What are they doing? Their fears, and then their touch points. Touch points are the bridge between the consumer and the company. How are they interacting with you? Okay, Steve Jobs said that you have to start with the customer experience and work back toward the technology. In the context of the webinar and customer journeys and personas today, it is that we need to understand the customer through understanding what they're going through in that customer journey before we can correctly market to them and make sure they are seen, heard, and valued. With having a more broad understanding of your customers through a customer journey, there are a myriad of benefits that come with it. Some of these include understanding customer behavior. When you articulate their wants, needs, emotions, and actions, you can understand where they're spending their time, why they're spending their time where they do, and essentially what they're up to as they engage with you. In addition, you can identify touch points. Because these are articulated, you know what kind of media are they consuming. Is it physical in the form of magazines and posters and flyers? Is it digital in the form of social media and emails? Knowing this is important so that you can support marketing efforts and spending money where it's relevant. For instance, it doesn't make sense to spend money on a flyer when all of your customers are spending time on Instagram, something like that. In addition, you can increase customer engagement by making sure your customers are seen and valued by articulating and communicating, I understand where you're coming from, I can relate to your emotions and how you're feeling in this moment. In addition, you can generate more return on investment. This comes hand in hand with spending marketing effort and time and resources in the right places. We can achieve more conversions, which can be clicking on that link, subscribing to the newsletter, purchasing your product, whatever it might be. In addition, you can improve customer loyalty because when customers feel seen and heard through appropriate marketing, a more tailored product, and improved communication, they feel valued and they're going to want to stick around. This is important because retaining customers is much cheaper than having to gain customers all the time because you're losing them. And then finally, you can analyze roadblocks and services by gaining insights on where your customers aren't spending their time and what they don't want from you as a company. That was a lot of information about customer journeys, but Michael Hunter says from personalbrand.com that if you want a raving fan and a repeat client, the answer lies in your customer journey map. So with that being said, let's dive into the world of customer journey maps. Okay, what is a journey map? A journey map is a visual representation of how a typical customer navigates a company's marketing and sales funnels. So in other words, a customer journey map takes that customer journey one step forward in representing and communicating the information in a customer journey in a visual way for everyone to see. Here's an example of a customer journey map. I realize there's a lot of information here. No need to try and decipher everything that's up here, but this is just a quick snapshot of what this can look like. This is a wonderful example to really communicate your brand and your company voice in the way you highlight and communicate your information. You can see here that the pathway that this customer takes is very literal. And in each step, we have bubbles that kind of represent touch points and what's going on in that customer journey. Here's another example. This one's from Slack, and you'll notice it's very different than the previous one in that the steps are a lot more rigid and defined. It's very clear cut with distinct borders. One thing that's also important to note here is that Slack seems to be really emphasizing the emotions that the customer goes through, which can be seen by the graphics of emojis. And then finally, I incorporated this one because it was kind of like a combo of the previous two. We have a little more rigidity in the definitive lines, but then we have a continuity with those arrows and the continuing graphic at the bottom, along with emphasis on emotion like the previous journey map. So what is even the point of building a map? Why can't we just stick to the customer journey itself? While all of the information in the customer journey is important, extremely relevant, it might not be the best way to communicate it. According to the Visual Teaching Alliance, visual information represents 90% of the information or the data that is relayed to the brain. Because of this, if you want to communicate something about your audience to employers or to your bosses or to your peers, it's best to put it in a visual form so that everyone can understand and appreciate it to its fullest extent. With that being said, our team has had extensive experience building customer journey maps from customer journeys, and we have made a short and succinct list of 4 steps so that we can create a customer journey map. So we start by dividing. We divide our customer base into personas based on their qualifiers. Next, we gather information or data about personas' trends. From there, we can leverage AI to generate more information about these personas and create all that information that goes into a good, strong customer journey. Finally, we're going to take that information in customer journeys and visualize it using digital tools in the form of a customer journey map. Okay, diving deeper into each of these steps, because there's quite a bit here to decipher. We start by dividing our client base into personas. Like was mentioned earlier, as a business, you are going to have a client or customer base. And this base is full of many different customers with different backgrounds, different demographics, different qualifiers, etc. And while all these people are very different, you can group them based on similar demographics and analyze how these people most likely behave in a similar way. For instance, some businesses might choose to group their client base based on gender, race, age, education, religion, location. The list really goes on and on. But once you divide these people based on these qualifiers, you have generated personas, which Mercedes mentioned earlier. And these personas are much easier to work with because you can analyze how they behave, which David will discuss in the following slide.
Hi, thank you, Asia, for that information. So, moving on to the second step, gathering information. So, when you gather metrics, it's important to gather marketing metrics on customer acquisition using survey data and data on buyer usage. And then when you combine these metrics using survey and social listening, we can really get into the analytics portion of this presentation. So, moving to the next slide. Let's take a further look at the data analytics of the information stage and why they are important. Analytics transfer customer journey maps into dynamic tools for understanding and improving the customer experience. They do this by leveraging data-driven insights about behavior, preferences, and pain points at each touch point. So I like to say customer journey maps are actually it's only as good as the data that informs them. Having a data-driven approach while building them ensures that they reflect the actual customer experience rather than just assumptions. So to dive deeper into analytics for information gathering, let's look at it from the perspective of the customer acquisition touchpoints. First, starting with the organic search touchpoint, this would be pretty much users finding your site as a result of doing a search engine, using a search engine such as Google, Bing, or Yahoo. And then moving on to social media, this would simply just be any customer interactions with your social media presence. And then we have paid advertisements, of course. And then we have public relations and media. So this could be blogs or articles written about your businesses. And then, of course, we have referrals. So this would just be traffic from other websites or other social media pages that link directly to yours. So moving on, now that we have a broad understanding of these, let's really dive into how we can use these analytics by analyzing the key metrics. So starting with impressions are defined as the number of times your content has appeared to a user. This is an important metric as it tracks content exposure. And then we have engagement. This is the amount of people who have interacted with your post, blog, or site. For example, in the context of social media, engagement is measured by comments, likes, and shares. Engagement is a key metric because it provides insights into what attracts your audience. With this information, you can gain insights of the demographic information of the most involved users. Tracking this information on social media platforms is amazing because each have analytic dashboard tools that easily display this information. Now let's talk about click-through rates. Click-through rates is one of the key metrics for tracking the value of an advertisement. Click-through rate is defined as a ratio of the people who click on a link, or advertisement or post in comparison to the number of times it's shown, aka the impressions. One reason why click-through rates are important is because they can be analyzed across all the touch points we previously mentioned and more. For example, in the context of organic search, the click-through rate would be the rate at which people clicked on your site out of the total people who saw the link to your site as a result of the search engine query. Click-through rate is valuable to organic search acquisition because it allows you to analyze the resulting keywords utilized by users. And then in the context of social media, click-through rate would be the rate at which people clicked a link that was included in your post out of the total post impressions. Social media platforms also do a great job of tracking this for you. So to bring this all together and summarize, I want to highlight 4 reasons to pay attention to analytics and metrics in the process of building a customer journey map. So number 1, identify the top performing channels. So with analytics, you can answer the question, what platforms and sites are you getting the most visibility and engagement? And using this question, you can help better optimize your time spent building. 2, analyze keyword performance. So what are people searching for when they find you? Are there any keyword opportunities you are missing? And then 3, you can measure the effectiveness. Using analytics gives you the ability to measure the effectiveness of campaigns to, for example, attract new customers. From here, you can calculate how much revenue was added in comparison to the time and money spent, aka calculating return on investment. And then finally, you can refine your marketing strategy, using your data to optimize your content, ads, and targeting to find the right people at the right time. So next, I'm going to hand it back off to Asia to talk about leveraging AI capabilities.
Before you go, David, talk to us about your experience using Google Analytics and the type of insights you were able to gain from that platform.
Yeah, so this summer I had a lot of experience using Google Analytics for the 2 pages of Get the Bag and GTP Advisors. And one thing I really like about Google Analytics is the demographic information it provides and also the tracking information it provides. So Google Analytics really outlines where your users are coming from and other demographic information such as gender and whatnot. And then as far as customer website tracking, Google Analytics also provides how the customer navigates throughout the website. So kind of tracking what they click on, what pages they spend a lot of time on, and where are they most interested in the site.
And it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, David. We will bring Asia back to the stage.
Yeah, thank you, David, for all of that information about data analytics and metrics and all of that wonderful stuff. So once we have that information and those metrics, which communicate where personas are spending their time, what channels they're using, and essentially what touch points they're engaging with, we can feed that information, that data, along with the customer persona information, which Mercedes taught us how to generate earlier, into AI software. From there, with that information input into the AI software, we can prompt the program to generate hypothetical information about this persona or this group of people for each of the phases of the customer journey. And with each of these phases, we can ask the AI to discuss the persona's wants, thoughts, emotions, etc. And then from there, the AI is going to deliver you a complete customer journey given the information you provided them. And while this is all important and amazing, it's important to keep in mind that whatever information you put into AI should not be sensitive, and it should not be something you're not comfortable with potentially being shared to third party or other sources. So it's important to keep the privacy of yourself, your business, and your clients in mind when you're using AI. And then from there, the information that you get back, of course, should be compared with your personal experience. AI is not perfect, and by applying your own experiences and your own reasoning to the information that you receive, you can ensure that it is accurate, less biased, and more reasonable given what you know. Okay, so with all that information, we are going to take that one step further and transform the information from a customer journey into a customer journey map. Our team likes to use They Canva, and Miro. I highly recommend you guys look into these platforms and figure out what's best for you, given your needs and wants. Okay, that was a lot of information. So let's take a look at customer journey map creation in action. Okay, so let's start off where Mercedes left us with Ella Rodriguez. Ella Rodriguez is the socially conscious gifting manager, and we have a customer persona of her generated using the process Mercedes walked us through earlier. So now I'm going to share my screen and walk through what we do with this. So I am going to open ChatGPT, and I am going to upload the document that I have here of Ella. However, just inputting this document isn't enough to generate a customer journey. We have to tell ChatGPT what we want from it. So we could, for instance, ask to create a customer journey of Ella using the information above. We have to be a little more specific than this. What steps do we want to include in our customer journey? We could say include the steps: awareness, consideration, decision, purchase, and advocacy. And then finally, we need to talk about what we want ChatGPT to include in each of these steps. So we could say include information about her thoughts, wants, emotions, needs, actions, and touch points during each step. In addition, we could take this one step further and also input metrics and data about Ella here. This is the kind of information we would have obtained through the processes that David described. Okay, so you'll notice in real time here, we have ChatGPT computing that information, analyzing the information, the persona we put in there, and delivering this customer journey about Ella Rodriguez. And all this information is wonderful and very useful, but you'll notice it's a lot to read, and it might not be the best way to communicate Ella Rodriguez's journey to bosses and peers. Because of this, what we're going to want to do now is leverage the organizational capabilities of digital software to turn this into something that's a lot more palpable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate to the software They is one of the resources I mentioned earlier, and it's a platform that essentially helps companies and organizations to visualize customer journeys, insights, opinions, and needs in the form of maps. So this is the homepage or the dashboard, and I'm going to go to create a journey. From there, you'll notice that we have a blank journey, and across the top, we have the steps of the journey that Ella will engage in. For instance, here we could put awareness. Here we might put purchase, and we can go on to add more steps as we choose. And we can also include advocacy at the end. And then across the side here, you'll notice that there's opportunities to include channels about the information that is relevant given each step. For instance, we could add a channel about channels that articulates how Ella is navigating touch points. You'll see here we have touch points such as a website, a chat feature, emails, and given the information that we have received from ChatGPT, we can select the touch points that Ella is engaging with across the journey, whatever that may mean. So there's a lot of information here to decipher, but here's a quick snapshot of what a finalized journey would look like. This is a journey that I created of a fictional persona, Kristen Miller. Kristen Miller is a real estate agent that is looking to expand her business. And you'll notice that in this customer journey map, we have images across the top to relay information about the actions she's completing. We have information about her needs and pains. We have information about her emotions. And we even have information about her touch points complete with visuals. And you'll notice here that this customer journey map allows viewers to get a quick snapshot of what Kristen is doing, thinking, feeling, and how she's engaging with the company without having to read through an entire doc of information from ChatGPT. Okay, so now that we have all of that information, what do you do with your customer journey map? At GTB Advisors, we like to leverage the information from customer journey maps to create social media strategy plans or content calendars. We like to do this so that we create content that is insightful, thoughtful, and intentional, that is targeted to our audience and our personas. You can see here an image on the right is an example of a hypothetical Instagram content calendar. And we invite you to try to do something similar like this with your personas and customer journey maps.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm going to bring the team back on to the stage. You did a wonderful job. It's been great having you this summer. And I hope that everyone appreciated the hard work and effort that they put into this presentation and that they've been putting into supporting marketing for both of my companies. We encourage you, if you're not already subscribed to or Get the Bag newsletter or following our channels, to do so. And we would really love to see what you do with creating your own customer personas and customer journey maps. And we would love to see it. Send us an email. If you have any other questions, you can email me at info@getthebag.biz or me personally. And this live stream it'll be on our Facebook channels. I'll keep it pinned to the LinkedIn channel. It's on YouTube. And we really feel that if you do a great job of understanding your customer, being empathetic to them, providing solutions for them and meeting them at every step of the way of their journey, including post-purchase, you will have a more profitable business, which will then set you up to be more appealing and attractive to prospective funders. And you may not even need any funders because you have so many customers and you're making so much money. So thank you all for your time and your time today and your questions. Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions, and let's give our interns an applause. And please please reach out to them and connect with them and be their support system as they go on to fabulous things in their career.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining. And I would love to connect on LinkedIn. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Have a great afternoon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.